How are you?
And a good morning to you.
Apparently, my watch wanted to say good morning to you as well.
Oh, that's so sweet, Siri.
So kind. So kind. Oh my gosh, what
So
a
kind.
weekend. What a weekend. Little girl is 12 now.
Wow. My dogs will be 12 in January.
I'm so glad our children are the same age.
They are. I don't think I've ever thought about that till now.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because, like, of course, all the pop ups come up. Like, 4 years ago, we were getting ready in a couple weeks to go on the Allure with her for her eighth birthday present.
Right, right.
It feels like so long ago.
And these last couple years have been, I, I'm not going to say the unprecedented times. I hate that phrase. We've heard it how many times? A million, but it's true. It's true.
What do you hate more? Do you hate unprecedented times or people saying, "Do you have time to connect?"
Connect. I hate having you have time to connect. I detest it. Well,
Hi,
Haley,
Mark.
we had a short pre-show today. It is 10 o'clock Central,
I know. I'm
11
sorry, guys. It's my fault.
on God's time, 11 a.m. God's time. Well, guys, it is time for Today in Travel, where we bring you all the latest news in the travel world, credit card hacks, hotel tricks, travel news, Alaskan rock slides, vaccine
All
updates.
the
If it
things.
touches travel, we discuss it. Guys, I'm Jay Cool. I'm a travel advisor with Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative. And this is just the behind the scene. This is a live look at what my beautiful co-host and I talk about behind the scenes. Haley, introduce yourself.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. My name is Haley. I am the owner of Hospitality with a Flair, which is a hotel sales consulting company and service. I travel blog and spend all my free time talking to Jason about what trips we should be doing, or have you seen Delta do this, or have you seen these flight prices?
I saw one of those memes, like the Little Miss memes going around, and one of them was like Little Miss Delta One, and I was like, that's funny. That was funny. All right, guys. So if you stayed at a hotel recently, you know the hotels are packed, right? The guests are
Oh, yeah.
there, pe- people are coming, but the workers aren't. So right now we are still at about a 16% decline for hotel staff from this same time in 2019. So it leads people to ask, where did they go? Haley, where did they go?
Oh, where is my soapbox? I'm gonna need it for this one.
Yeah, how about the
There,
condensed version?
the condensed version, the cliff notes. A lot of people just left the industry. I think there's very difficult industries to work in. Like obviously the medical field, like cannot imagine. Like,
No,
you
no,
know, being a firefighter, like those are very high stress jobs. Maybe not that high stress, but working in the hospitality industry is very high stress. You are dealing with people's extra money, which
right.
is very precious to them, and their what they eat and their sleep. Um, and people aren't always very kind when
Yeah,
it comes
I've
to
never
the
understood.
situation.
I've often been in line at like guest services or something on a cruise or in front of a front desk at a hotel and see people that are just, they're on vacation and they're just screaming about the most irrational thing.
Oh, I've had a lady like yell at me because before she stayed at our hotel for a couple days, there wasn't bird feces on her car, but she was mad because there were no bird feces on her car. Like,
So as you know
I
in
think
the
a lot of people got
industry,
sick of it. A lot of people got sick of that. And during the pandemic, management level people were given this, if you want to stay, we're cutting your pay.
okay.
And a lot of management level people or people that were, gearing up to go into management left. And these hotels are still operating. They're charging, I mean, obscenely high rates. We're starting to see, like Nashville, for example, is a market that we work in. We're starting to see a little hurt there because that's very much a drive-in market, as busy as that airport's getting. It's a very much regional drive-in market. So we're starting to see
it's crazy. Like from like a
dips there.
1-day drive from Nashville, you can get to like, I heard a crazy stat, like a great percentage of the United States. You can get to Nashville within like a day. Yeah.
It's true. So like, you know, with gas being where it is, that's kind of hurting that market a bit. But I mean, people are just not coming back to it. You're talking your front desk, your housekeepers, depending on where they are in the States, $8 to $12 an hour to clean up after people, be screamed at, be spit at.
And at the same time, where the hotels are charging a lot, they haven't been increasing the pay for the staff. Is that what you're saying?
Not entirely. Depends on which management company you work for.
Okay.
I actually went off on this on my company podcast last week a little bit. Because one of the things I'm attempting to do in Remedy, because there's a big gap in sales experience now too, because a lot of people left in the midst of the pandemic and went into other fields, is I'm creating online training courses for people that maybe don't have the experience but have that willingness to learn. That's cheaper than a college degree. But there's this massive gap. And frankly, personally, and you can quote me on it, it's not going to be filled until some of these management companies put money, time, and quality back into their staffing.
Right.
It's really sad.
I agree. So, I mean, thanks we always appreciate the industry update from our resident hotel guru. So thank you so much. Now jumping into my expertise, let's talk a little bit about cruising. So as we discussed last week, the CDC has decided to basically no longer enforce any of the rules and requirements of the cruise lines. They're going to offer recommendations. They're going to offer suggestions, but there's no more requirements from the CDC. So the cruise lines are free to basically operate how they want. So that led immediately to everybody start asking, well, what does that mean as far as COVID testing? What does that mean for vaccination requirements? Well, Ozamara Voyages, which is a very small boutique brand, they only have 4 little bitty ships. They used to be part of the Royal Caribbean group. They sold them off. And so, but they have 4 little bitty ships. They are no longer requiring a COVID test to get on one of their sailings. Excluding ports where it's required to blah, 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 get off. The bigger one of the more mainstream ones that came out was Virgin Voyages is now saying, so starting 2 days ago for Valiant and this weekend for Scarlet, no more COVID testing required to get on Virgin Voyages. And they're going to allow up to 10% of the passengers to be unvaccinated against COVID-19. No one has said that yet.
Yes. Well,
so I have lots of
called it. We said as soon as the CDC said we're pulling our hands away, we're going to start seeing the testing drop, I think, like flies. And it's been what, a week or so?
Yeah, so I get it from a financial standpoint, right? Virgin Voyages is, they're just not selling their ships, right? They launched at a terrible time. Like, I mean, they're
literally have the worst luck
of it. Right.
Of
so
anything.
they're their time. I don't love the up to 10% of vaccinated. I don't. I'm okay if there's like a doctor's note, you can't get it for whatever reason. You're
immunocompromised, like
right.
And then raises another.
I would argue that people shouldn't be going on a cruise, but that's another
discussion. I mean, that could
another discussion. So COVID is spreading very rapidly right now. I mean, we both have friends who work on cruise ships. It's spreading rapidly. Luckily, very few people who are vaccinated and boosted are really. Look, I've had hangovers worse than my COVID spell in December. Okay, I have, right.
Well, I
But
mean, when I had it in March, it was
yeah.
wasn't anything. I've been far more ill in my life
Right.
during times, but then
So
again, vax boosted.
I do understand their desire to get people. I would not be shocked if we see the other big boys, the Royal Caribbean group, Norwegian. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing that. I do think the no COVID vaccine requirement is a little bit of a middle finger to the crew who still have to be vaccinated. They're tested every week to week and a half.
We go through so much.
They have to wear a mask nonstop. And now they're going to let people get on a ship without a vaccine and without a COVID test. Like, I just think I think you are not taking care of the crew. Like the cruise lines have three responsibilities, right? To the, the structure, the ship itself, take care of the ship itself, take care of the crew, and take care of. And I just think they're not taking care of the crew. I really do. I just think that is not taking care of the crew.
No.
And I hope other cruise lines don't start lowering the vaccine requirements. But as they're desperate for bookings, I wouldn't be entirely shocked if that was going to be the case. So,
well, keeping it in cruise news and COVID-19.
Poor Princess, they are just cursed. So, Coral Princess, one of their older, smaller ships, is down in Australia right now. They've had 120 cases of COVID on the ship. Again, COVID is spreading. No one really has had serious injuries, thankfully, but there are 20-foot plus waves that are preventing them from safely docking. So these people are kind of like stuck on there. Now, it's not a quarantine. It's not the government not letting dog. It's just poor Princess. They are. They're just like cursed when it comes to COVID. Remember, they were the first ones that had the huge outbreak. So
I know. I mean, and I think unfortunately they still have a very massive PR to overcome because really, because when people think of cruise ships, like, oh, they're so much more prone to COVID, first thing you think of is the issues with all that, all the princess ships that were stranded. Because it was so big in the news,
right?
More princess.
Well,
so more princess news.
Keeping it kind of in the princess news, there was there's some adjustments up in Alaska. So if Princess is a major player in Alaska. There was a really bad rock slide in Alaska. So they have to close the terminal that Princess uses at Skagway because of a major rock slide. So far, only Princess, as of the recording of this, has really been affected. Haley, we're going to Alaska in a couple weeks, so we'll keep an eye on this.
I cannot wait to see what you think of Skagway, and this is our group cruise here. We're going to see Miss Pam in here in a couple weeks. I can't remember if Pam's been yet, but Skagway is just the most beautiful port to like come into, because you're kind of like coming up this inlet, and just the mountains and the water are just beautiful. And I highly recommend, if any of you are doing an Alaskan sailing in general, Skagway is usually an early morning port around 7:30. If you can get up around sunrise time, and
with the time change,
yeah. Plus technically you have more sunlight in Alaska this time of year. But if you get up in the early morning and your buffet or whatnot has that outside back seating, I have a picture of myself that I took on Ovation last year. Sitting out there with a cup of coffee is just, it's
I hope you meant espresso, not coffee.
Oh, I know. This big guy that didn't drink espresso until 4 years ago over here.
I still don't like coffee.
That finally had European espresso this year.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. All right, so guys, we have a slight update, and this is my bad. This is me falling on the sword because I was not aware of this until last week.
Shames.
So I apologize. So when the Royal Caribbean group, so Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, ended their Cruise with Confidence program, Celebrity went back to the pre-COVID, pre-Cruise with Confidence rules for non-refundable deposits. So if you canceled a non-refundable deposit, you got your deposit back as a future cruise credit minus $100 per person. Okay, so non-refundable deposit, they're going to keep their money, but they'll give it to you as a future cruise credit. Royal Caribbean, quietly, I received no emails about this, has decided for bookings made after, I think it's like March 15th, if it's a non-refundable deposit and you cancel, they are holding all of the deposit and penalty, which means they keep it all and you get no future cruise credit. So if you have a $900 non-refundable deposit and you paid $1,000 for it, let's say you say, hey, charge my card $1,000, you'll get the refund of the $100, but the $900 is just gone. I am shocked they're doing this. Like, I had to read the terms and conditions. It's on the Royal Caribbean website. This quietly happened. I just became aware of it. So that is something to really consider when booking non-refundable.
Yeah, I can't say it on the air. I cannot say this on the air. I don't think that's right. And I find it kind of weird that this happens more. You talk about some isms that are okay in like the hotel world, like overselling. That's weird. This is something that I find weird compared to other aspects of travel. Like if I were to cancel my flight with Delta, I would get a Delta credit for my entire.
Only because of the COVID rules. Pre-COVID, if it was non-refundable, it was non-refundable.
But I mean, I just don't understand just in general why if you cancel, even if it's a non-refundable deposit, you don't have that full credit.
I wouldn't be shocked if the airlines get rid of that eventually. Go back to the pre-COVID days.
No, but I mean, there was a portion of that though where if you canceled a flight, you would still get the vast majority of it.
Right. I mean, again, yeah. I mean, I am shocked that they're
because here's the thing: even if you give that to them as a credit, some people forget about those credits, and it's still.
Oh, I have a database full. The dollar amount of just my clients with future cruise credits is staggering. So I was trying to reach out to them and I'm like, hey, you've got $5,000 in credits. You've got $2,000. Like, do you want to go on a free trip? So speaking of free trips, Haley is doing something different to me, and I really don't know what this is going to be. So Haley,
this is going to be a trip. And you guys, you can feel free to answer in the comment section. So I created a little travel this or that with some non-common companies and items on here, and as well there's some regular fun ones because I really want to see where everybody lands, but especially Jason if he's given a decision between two things.
Oh, and I have no idea what she's about to show me. No idea. Okay.
So number one, travel this or that. Hilton or IHG?
Hilton.
Really? Do you realize why I picked that one?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Good to your head.
I mean, look, our Hawaii property, which was a Hilton Honolulu, it was great. I mean,
a lot of people
Hilton
are agreeing with you here in the comment section.
Hilton has some nice properties. They're just, yeah. Okay.
Spring break week, Royal Caribbean or Norwegian for yourself.
Norwegian.
If you were forced to
Norwegian.
go.
I booked the Haven and hide in the Haven.
Okay. Transatlantic, United or American?
American. I'd rather fly to JFK than Newark.
Jason and I joke that Newark's kind of like a third world country.
Yeah, I'd say American. I'd say American.
A couple people responded to your spring break week Royal or Unsealed, just stay home, stay away.
Say what? Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, hell, I was on Norwegian during spring break week for that seminar at sea, and it actually wasn't terrible. Like, I was in bed kind of early. Like, I went to the club one night, and it was just full of just like, I don't know. I mean, you remember that trip? Like, I was in bed most nights by like
Yeah,
10, 11. Like, I really wasn't, but it was also like a work trip for me too, right?
that
I
is
mean,
true.
but if you and I were there on Norwegian in the Haven, we would have a great time. I mean, we would have fun.
I think so. All right. Say you're in Spain, France, Italy on a land trip and you needed to get to another city in that same country. Are you taking the train or are you renting a car and seeing the hillsides?
How long of a ride are we talking?
Couple hours.
I mean, if it's two or fewer, I'm probably do a car. I mean, look, I did this, right? I was in London and had to get to Southampton. You can train it, but I ordered car service with my favorite car vendor now. I've been booking it for clients. Black Lane, love them. My clients are enjoying it. I'm booking it for them. So I'd probably say
Thank you to Chrissy Tweddle when you watch this.
yeah. So probably 2-3 hours car longer than that. I guess I'll probably do a train or look at flight options. Depending on how
See,
far.
for me, I would be more apt to do the train, generally speaking, because Europe trains are nice. They're nice, they're easy,
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
effective. Even though I know I could like fly sometimes to different spots, they have bullet-ish trains. And I don't have all my luxuries of my global entry and stuff to like get me through the airport.
And it also depends if I'm going for the day or not. It's like, for example, when I was just in Europe, on the Beyond, we docked in Villafrance, and I took the train to Monaco. Like, we could have done a car, but the train was like, I think it was €4. And honestly, you could have gotten on it for free. Like, they weren't even checking tickets. Like, it was wild. Like, even coming back, my friend that was with me is like, oh my gosh, I can't find the ticket. Like, oh, just get on the train, we'll find it when they. No, I mean, you could have ridden for free, but it was 4 there, 4 back.
Yeah, and Josh brings up a point. Parking's really difficult in cities like that too. So
I
I'm
agree.
definitely a train girl. All right, Jason, are you into buying traditional souvenirs like a magnet for your fridge, or are you a luxury item gal?
I'd say both. Like, I did buy a little espresso cup from the Med, which was cute. It had the lemons on it. It was down when I was in Capri. It was cute. I typically don't buy that stuff typically. But then when I went to Monaco, I bought a pair of trainers. So
For hotels, interior, corridor, or exterior?
huh. Is the interior nice?
And what I mean is how you get into your room. Like, are you walking down a
Yeah.
hallway to get?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you meant like the view. I was thinking like Gaylord
You're thinking of
Opryland.
cruise and cruising too.
I was thinking Opryland. Interior. Yeah, and I want to walk through a lobby, up an elevator. Yeah, interior.
Okay. Celebrity Aqua Classroom or one of the more entry level suites on Virgin?
Oh, celebrity aqua class.
Okay.
If we're talking just amenities, right? I mean, because there are more amenities with Celebrity than there are even in the suite with Virgin.
I wasn't sure if by throwing in Aqua, I might change your mind a little bit.
No. I mean, I think the suites on Virgin are really nice. I mean, my Brilliant suite on Virgin was I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, it really is a beautiful room. I mean, that bathroom and that shower. I mean, it was beautiful.
They're nice.
I mean, the record player in the room. I actually used that record player in the room a decent amount. The bar in the room was really nice. I didn't use it that much, but it has like a full martini set. I wasn't sitting in the room making martinis, but like before bed, a little tequila as a nightcap. That was nice. But yeah, I'm gonna say Aqua Class. I like Aqua Class.
As we are progressing in years, are you looking for more of a relaxing trip, or are you still adventure focused?
Relaxing to me is like, doing like a cruise, getting off the ship in a European town, walking around, exploring the town, having lunch, maybe doing a museum, like when I was in Bilbao, Spain, like, going to the Guggenheim, right? That I guess I wouldn't call that adventurous, right? I guess I'd call that more relaxing because I was in a museum.
Yeah.
Right, but I got out and
I don't
like
think I'm necessarily like looking to, do cliff jumping and stuff. I mean, my back now that it's all that stuff. Limits that kind of stuff.
Cozumel with you, would I still go like snorkeling? Yeah. Right. Would I still?
I want to snorkel in the mud. I need to do that.
You know what's crazy? When you do cruises in the Med, at least with me, I struggle because I'm always just like exploring the town, shopping, like eating lunch there. And so like I don't ever really, have I ever even been in the water in the Mediterranean? In Greece. Yeah, I'm in Greece. Yeah, I've been in Greece. Yeah. But I mean, but not a lot, So you tend to like enjoy the towns, right? You go to these places.
Josh said in here, the culture, like, I like finding, a cute bar outside of the traditional tourist areas and street food and
I too. Kind of. I mean, some of my favorite days when I was in what town was that? Where I was in France on the inaugural.
La Rochelle.
Yes, thank you. Never been there. You're probably not gonna like fly there to. I mean, the Bordeaux region was nice, right? But you probably wouldn't go to that exact town, right?
No.
But was it cute for like a cruise day to get off? Like I found this coffee shop that was like in a person's like house. Okay. Like I was walking through this like house and found this beautiful coffee shop in their like backyard. And it was so cute. So that's one reason I do enjoy kind of, just strolling along in the European ports. Okay, sorry, that was a long answer.
Perfect. I have the last one for you. What destinations are drawing you, those city lights or tropical / beachy destinations?
City lights. I am a city fan. There's still so many of the world's largest cities that I have not seen.
Paris.
Like, I've tried. COVID. It's like me with Paris is your London. It's your London. So like, there's so many of the world's greatest cities that I've not seen. I've seen nothing in Asia, right? Like I really want to get. I mean, Tokyo would be a blast, right? Going to Sydney, right, which is on the list. Like I'm currently scheduled to go to Sydney, so I would say city lights. I am not personally the biggest beach fan. I'm kind of one of those like you've seen one beach, you've seen them all. Like you've seen one great beach, you've seen them all, right? I know there are different types of beaches, but I'm definitely
I think with that comes from too, because like don't get me wrong, like I love looking at like the Med, the beaches, and like they're beautiful, but I think you lack that culture piece.
I do.
From
Now, if I had had more time in Capri, I would have gotten in the water. It was stunning. So next time I go, I will probably make that kind of a beachy day. Have like a lunch, and
yeah,
then it was like when you got off the ferry, like there's like a public beach, like right there, like it's right there. So it's an easy. I mean, you could literally get off the ferry, take a hard right, and you were like in the water in like 30 steps. I mean, it is that close. So I would probably next time I was there make it a beach day. Villa France. I don't know though. If I ever docked there again, I'd really want to go back to Monaco. I really liked it. I really liked Monaco.
Like your best friend knows things that you'd like.
Yeah, Rick was like, we got to go. He loves it, so it was fun.
But that was travel this or that. I think that was fun, and thank you guys so much for answering. We really appreciate it. Our travel tip of the day. So I saw this because I have seen so many Instagram reels and TikToks of people being denied boarding to their trip to Italy or wherever because their passport expires less than 6 months from that trip day. Like their passport expired in 75 days.
Guys, in my mind, a passport has 9 years. Not 10, 9. When my passport has a year left, I'm starting to look at my calendar and figuring out when is a gap for me to renew my passport.
That's what I did with Olivia's.
You cannot wait. Oh, I've got a year. I've got months. You cannot do if you travel a lot, right? If you're just if you go to the Caribbean a couple times a year and you can always use the birth certificate, ID hack, unless it's Virgin. Virgin requires passports for everybody. Everybody. It's where they're strict about passports, but not COVID, but whatever. I digress. Haley, I could not agree with you more. You've got to stay on top of that. And I'm going to add a different one. You've got to stay on top of your global entry / TSA pre-check.
That is no joke. And I was just like, we're on the same wavelength. So a couple years ago when I got mine, Jeff applied for his and he was denied because he had a college indiscretion on his record.
When mine expires now.
And now that he works for a government contractor, he has, clearance, Homeland Security, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And they said that if he goes and finds his number on his original rejection letter, that he needs to attach it to a new application with his clearance and whatnot. There are no appointments in New York near us until 2023.
No, I've heard this. No, I've heard this. Yeah. So you've got to stay. And what's nice is if you have global entry or pre-check, if you don't let it expire, it's renewing my global entry was trivial. Like it was just like click, and they emailed me back. It said, because of the delays, we're extending the expiration date 12 months from what's there. So I got another year. And within probably 6 weeks, I had a new card in the mail. Same terrible photo. I was like, you can't take in a new photo? It's terrible. You never use your card anyways. But the cards.
I do. I took this tip from Mr. Jarvis. I use it as my airport ID.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I just have my passport. Yeah.
Yeah, I use it as my airport ID.
Now, you know what I do? I only use my global entry card one time. If I get off a cruise, this is more if I'm in Miami where they're kind of looking at solo travelers a little differently. When I hand the customs agent my passport, I mean, it's rare now because now everyone's doing the scanning, right? I'll often hand the passport with my global entry card.
I've done that too.
Dude, I've done the government background check, Leave me alone. Well, Haley, that is fun. I need to plan a this or that for you in
No.
the coming weeks. So stay tuned for
Yes,
Haley's.
yes. And guys, remember, we are 2.5 weeks now from that Alaska cruise. So make sure you're watching. I don't know if we're going to get our traditional show on the 16th because with that time change and sometimes service is a little spotty.
I hate to say it, even
The
on
ninth
the
is going to be a
9th,
little, so might get a little tricky here. Look for some posts in the group. And for those of us that are joining us, we're so excited to see you. I cannot wait. You guys are going to get to meet my dad. I was telling Jason that my dad's actually shorter than I am, and he's like, no.
I can't believe that.
But that was the first thing Jason ever said to me in person, was a comment about my height.
I was. Swear to God. We've been virtual friends. She runs up on the pool deck. We were on the Enchantment, I think. She runs up and I said, wow, you're really short. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you guys are having a great summer. So many of you guys have been or are going to Europe or Alaska this summer. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm really pushing my clients to think outside the Caribbean and seeing all of your Facebook posts, Instagram posts. Like we have a great family who is active in our community in Greece right now, just loving the different stuff. So love it.
Walkers are having a great time over in Europe. And guys, remember, right now is a really great time to plan Europe 2023. Like, if you are wanting to do Europe 2023, hop on it now, book early. It's not like the Caribbean where you're going to get those little price drops all the time really close. Europe is a whole different ball game.
Look, I already have my summer Europe trip booked for next year. I have it booked.
So guys, reach out to Jason. He'll hook you up.
I might be announcing it as a group later for a certain big birthday I'm hitting next year.
50?
30. 30. 30. 30. So guys, thank you so much. We'll be here next week for sure. And the next 2 weeks will be kind of iffy. But guys, thank you so much. Keep posting at todayintravel.live. And Haley, see you soon.